verse 32 says, Yahweh handed Lachish over to Israel, and Joshua took it. I'm not on. Okay, Joshua 10, verse 32. Yahweh handed Lachish over to Israel, and Joshua took it on the second day.
Wow.
The city and everyone in it he put to the sword, just as he had done to Libnah. Okay, so a major city for Joshua's conquest. So think about that as you're walking through. Now I'm going to 2 Chronicles 32. So 32, verse 9 says this, Later when Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and all his forces were laying siege to Lachish, he sent his officers to Jerusalem with this message for Hezekiah, king of Judah, and for all the people of Judah who were there. So remember, we read the message that was sent through the general when we were at the Hezekiah's wall, the broad wall up in Jerusalem. You remember?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the city. All the cities of Judah have been destroyed down to two cities. Lachish, which was under siege and about to fall, and then Jerusalem. So he, as Lachish was getting ready to fall, he sent his message, Sennacherib did, to Hezekiah and to the people of Jerusalem, you're next. And so from this Assyrian time period, this is really the verse that I just read that is the connector. It specifically says that that this happened and all his forces were laying siege to Lachish. Okay, so Sennacherib, the Bible says, laid siege to Lachish, and then what we have here is a siege ramp found through archaeology. Now, to make sure that it was a siege ramp, they cut into it and exposed all that rocks because they had to know, is this really a siege ramp? And you can see that it's just a pile of stones. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But it's been cut into. So the whole siege ramp is going up right here. And it just looks weird because they cut into it to make sure that what they were thinking it was. And then you see the wall of the city up there. So that's where they were getting up to break through the wall to get into the city. And that's one level of wall. There's another level of wall above that. Okay, so again, when Henry Layard did the excavations at Nineveh, all the way up in Assyria, you've heard, Mosel coming up a lot in the news with Iraq, right? So it's right across the river from Mosel is the ancient site of Nineveh. There he excavated the palace that had no rival. This is Sennacherib's palace, and the main showroom for Sennacherib's palace shows the reliefs of Lachish, the second most important city in Judah. He certainly wanted in his main showroom Jerusalem, which is another evidence that he never got Jerusalem. So if you go to the British Museum, one of the things on display there is these panels, these stone reliefs that came out of that Lachish room. And we saw a replica of it in the Israel Museum, of some of them. And so, I mean, it's like a stone movie of what happened here, and we'll see it better, but the Assyrian camp is back over where the kibbutz is. Sennacherib is depicted sitting on a throne, which is about the backside of this bathroom here. And what is he watching? He's watching the show, which is taking place right here on the siege ramp. Okay, and they've come down the coastal highway from Assyria with their big war machines, They're kind of depicting them over here. Of course, they would have been much bigger than that, and you can see off the back side, I think they're maybe that's not a spoon, but anyways, they have a big spoon that they. Oh yeah, you see the water coming off the spoon. You see that? Oh, yeah. So they're keep dousing the battering ram with water because the ones up in the tower up there's a wall down here that you see exposed with the mud brick, and then there's a wall up where you see that tower depicted. And that is, if they get through that, then that's the end of Lachish. And so what they're doing on the other side, and we'll go up there and look down from the opposite direction, but what they're doing up there on the opposite side is they're putting, they're building, they're putting their own type of siege ramp on the other side, not as a siege ramp, but as reinforcements to the wall that they're trying to break through. And the whole fight for the whole city takes place right there. So you can dig the wall from the Assyrian period over here. You can dig it over around the corner there. You can dig it all you want to on the other side. You might not find a single piece of shred of evidence for the destruction of this city by the Assyrians until you get to the specific point of the wall that the whole battle was for to break through. See what I'm saying? So when they excavated, I have this big book that I used to show and everything, but now I got it in Jordan and it's huge. But it's from the excavations here from David Usishkin. But all the stuff that they found while excavating that particular place, thousands and thousands of Assyrian arrowheads, the sling stones like you saw a pile of in the museum, all over the place, and then crushed skulls that from the men that were killed in the battle, and so that is the archeological gold mine up there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to walk up this ramp into the gate of this.